Hello everybody, I'm Olivier de Rivière. Welcome to this video. I'm not at my studio, so sound is not so good. Okay, so this video is about music narration and structure. I've been known for doing a lot of interactive music, and this game has a lot of interactive music. But today I want to focus more on the narration and the structure. So let's do it. This game has been developed by Azobo Studio, published by Focus Home. It's now a year old almost, and the game is mainly a story-driven game where you follow the destiny of two siblings. One is Amicia and the other one is Hugo. Amicia is the big sister, and they'll face a lot of things. So before we move on, just alert, spoiler, this video will spoil everything. I mean, a lot of things. I'm just gonna talk about the relationship between Hugo and Amicia and the Inquisition. I'm not gonna talk about the other aspects of the game, the other characters or things, because it's way too much. And I believe that, you know, although the music, I mean, we did a lot of work on these things, I would like to focus more on that and make a shorter video. So here we go. Let's do it. So we're in chapter 1, where Amicia and her father are coming back from the forest where the dog was killed in very weird condition. And so Amicia wants to go to her mom and tell the story, but her mom is still busy with caring for her brother, her little brother Hugo, that she doesn't know much because he's sick and her mom doesn't want her to approach him. So as she's trying, Amicia, to talk to her mom, she hears something in, you know, the outside, and then she's looking out and see her dad being killed by the Inquisition. And because of that, of course, her mom reacts and say to her, please take care of Hugo while I'm going down, check it out. I don't know what she thinks, but she goes out and leave her with Hugo. So that's the first time Amicia is meeting with Hugo. And this is, you need to understand, there's no relationship between them. They don't know each other. So she's 14 years old, he's 5, and she meets him for the first time as she sort of get introduced to the Inquisition. So let's see how this translates for music. Number 1, we didn't want any music for the relationship because there was none. So we focused on the Inquisition, and that was the most important thing to the creative director, because he said to me, listen, this Inquisition is very iconic, and we need to make it so iconic that as soon as we hear it, we know it's the Inquisition. But I don't want to have notes. So I had to come up with just 2 notes for the theme, and this is the result.
Hugo, come here.
What's happening?
Shh.
I know you're here, kid. I don't have time to play games. Where have they hidden him?
Let's go. Now.
Where's Mommy?
Shh.
Hugo, it's me, Gabriel. Come here quickly.
Hey, you! What the hell are you doing?
Let's go.
The kid, huh?
So that's the 2 notes. It's just the first exposition of the theme. Now you're gonna have a bigger sense of the theme when they kill the servant, dynamically.
Leia!
I don't know anything. There you go. That'll teach you.
No, I'm begging you. Hugo's not here.
And you, stay.
Come on.
It is very clear. Tell me.
So it gives you
Hugo,
the first
room.
exposition, like in full, of the theme. It will now go away, add some tension.
Mother. I have to find Mother. She'll know.
All of a sudden, the bell,
Oh my God. Louise.
Louise, the servant,
making me run like that.
and the flutes, she's gonna get slapped, and then when he kills her, you're gonna have the full...
We need to move. Don't look.
And as the massacre happens, the theme is getting bigger and bigger.
We have to keep going.
He hurt you again.
I have no idea. I only do the laundry.
Listen, this is your last chance. Tell us what you know about your mistress's research. Even if I know.
So out of the two notes for the Inquisition, they had to be very iconic. So we started here. To have a first, let's say, bigger exposition. To finally get the full strength. And it's only two notes. How beautiful. So let's moving on. After chapter 1, we get Amicia. I mean, at the end of chapter 1, Amicia witness her mom getting killed. So Hugo doesn't know that both of his parents are dead, and they flee to the village next to the mansion, and there people are getting crazy because they think they're bringing in the plague, so they're after them, and they need to hide. But while hiding, Hugo is frustrated not to see his mom and his daddy, but mostly he wants to see his mom, and this is where we decided to start the relationship motive for music, because it's during arguments that somehow you understand better the other person, most of the time, unfortunately. And so this relationship, we didn't want the music to feel like, oh, it's something sad, melancholic, or whatever at the very moment. It's quite the opposite. We wanted the music to be beautiful. We wanted the music to sort of take the hands of the two kids and sort of give them a hug. So let's see how the music reacts to when they first get separated.
I want to see
Mommy is dead, Hugo. You'll never see her again. Or Daddy.
Amicia.
You're lying.
They were killed at the house. Both of them. So shut up.
Lying. I hate you.
Please stop.
Hugo, no! Hugo, wait! Don't go out. You're mad.
So you see, what could be a paradox is the fact that the music is in major, and usually when you use major chords, it's to provide joy, it's to provide happiness and all of this. But here, it feels like it fits so well with the moment, because although it's in major, you still feel very emotional, and that's because basically the music stays very, very gentle, subtle with what's going on. So now let's see what's happening when he goes away and she's after him, and she knows that the people from the village might get, catch him and kill him. So out of the first chords that you heard, the idea was like to get them getting crazier and crazier into almost insanity, because she's after him and she's scared as hell that he's getting caught and get killed. So let's see.
Hugo, come back!
Very seamless transition. It's the same chords.
What's he doing?
Where are they? Where the hell are they?
Oh no, he's going to get us killed! Hugo, please! I'm sorry!
You see, it's still the build-up of the relationship. She's sorry.
Oh my god! Oh no! Hugo! I shouldn't have shouted! Please listen to me!
And so she's feeling guilty, and it's even
Sorry!
more pressure, and you get caught. Music getting crazy.
No! Let him go!
So that's where you were.
No! Wait, we just... I didn't want to.
And so this moment of realization that she just killed somebody, she couldn't understand she was doing it, before it was done. And so that's why the music goes and become from this moment to that moment. It's the same thing. Okay? And so it's to show you how connected everything is. So after this very critical moment, they reunite and they go through a church where there's a lot of rats and it's very scary. The music is all about rats and everything. But at some point they need to collaborate. And through, they get separated actually, but through this separation they will collaborate. So it's a gameplay trick, of course, but also the storyline was following this to once again build up the relationship. Let's see, how we handled this. And the first thing was, once again, not to be scary. It was scary, remember, it's a lot of time between those elements I'm showing you. And right before this moment, it's very scary, it's very stressful. And although the situation is still very stressful, the music will be different. So now they get separated.
Are you alright?
Yes. Stay where you are. The ground is rotten.
Amicia, how am I going to get back?
We'll find a way. Don't worry. As long as you have the torch, you'll be safe.
But what about you?
We'll move together. That way, the light coming through the grating will protect me too. Ready?
You see, so
Here we go then.
the relationship is now about collaboration. Although you see the rats and everything,
Very good.
we wanted to focus on this. So it's getting bigger now.
Look, there's a hole. Do you want the torch?
Yes, there are too many rats on my side.
But where can I get through?
The hole behind you. That's the only way I can see. Go through there and I'll meet you on the other side.
Are you sure?
Just stop if you see rats. I'll be with you very quickly.
Alright, but please hurry.
So in my opinion, this very scene is very, very emotional and very beautiful. To have them go through this very harsh moment and to collaborate and to, in the end, succeed together is the first time ever that happens to them. And so that's why the music was not about, oh, careful, the rats and everything, and you get separated. No. It's much more about, that's beautiful what you kids are doing. So a little later, Amicia is going through, this little puzzle, and something happens. So we wanted to, once again, level up the build-up, the relationship. So cellos are coming in because she's getting more emotional as well. Let's listen to it.
Quick now. Hugo! What's going on? Hugo! Talk to me! Come on!
So
I'll open a way through for you. We're going to get you down from there.
her voice, the way she acts,
Calm down, Amicia. He's fine. You're fine. Stay focused.
you see, it's not about the threat of the rats or anything. It's about caring for the brother. So when at the end she reaches him, listen.
Sorry. I shouldn't have left you alone. It's too risky.
That's alright.
So you could hear that there was a new element to this. So we started with the synth very warm. Then we had these chords with the cello that are very emotional. This one, like, with the synth, the bass, it gives a lot of depth, And later on, you could hear that there was a new element. And this new element is la viole de gamme. So that's a new element. And having that, it's to capture the relationship getting bigger, building up. And so if we move on to the next chapter, where they're about to get to Laurentius, where Amicia can finally get rid of the burden, aka Hugo, because this is what she wants to do, bear in mind, she still faces new situations, such as episodes. He has some headaches episodes, Hugo. She doesn't know how to act about this. And once again, it was about the relationship, the beautiful relationship between the two of them, getting constructed as we go. And now we start making sense. So this very music, so the green boxes here, will be echoed here. And there is a little thing that will make a huge difference. So if you listen carefully, you will hear it.
Hugo, we can't stop. Not here.
I feel funny.
Come on. You'll be able to rest when we get to Laurentius's place.
My head. It hurts.
I don't know what to do, Hugo. What would Mommy do?
Give me medicine.
I can carry you. That's the best I can do. Come on, climb up.
So you recognize this, but now listen.
Mommy says I shouldn't leave the house,
I know.
That must be why I feel all funny.
You're just tired.
I miss her.
At least you were allowed to see her. Nothing.
So I really believe this is one of the most beautiful moments in the game. And so what we had here in green, this, when, as I said, mentioned the relationship was starting, is back again here. But with this new element that you had here. Sorry. Now you have it here as well. So it's the green repeating himself plus the element of the orange here that gives us a sense of progression of the relationship. And that was what really matters to us, was like to have a sense of progression of the relationship. So let's move on. Chapter 5, they flee away from Laurentius because he dies. Unfortunately, he's sick. They get someone else, a little kid, to help them. And as they flee away because of the rats invading, they end up into a battlefield with soldiers, like English and French soldiers. It's after the fight and a lot of corpse. And at the end, they get caught by the English soldiers and imprisoned. Hopefully, luckily they got at chapter 6 some other kids coming in to help them out. And they finally reunite, only to find out at the end that the English soldiers were waiting for the Inquisition to pick them up, because once again, the Inquisition is very important. And that's, 6 chapters without them. So it was very important that on the first chapter, the music was iconic enough that you could sort of understand that the Inquisition would be back. So listen what I did. And I think you might hear it. And if not, it's okay. I will help you out.
Amicia,
Oh,
they said they were going to take me away, and I wouldn't see you again.
well, now you know that's not true. I'm here,
We're staying together, right?
of course. And we're going to go with Melly. She's here to help us.
She's the thief.
And she's sorry she turned us in earlier. Aren't you, Melly?
Yeah, I'm a bad girl. Happy now? Can we go?
Take my hand, Hugo. Let's get going.
Yes.
There's a way out at the far end of the camp. If you really know how to use that sling, you'd better go first.
So it goes like this. So did you hear what I was mentioning? Maybe not. Let's have even more careful listen. Do you hear it? Okay, well, do you hear this? No? You don't hear it? Does it ring any bell now? Like this? That's the Inquisition. So already in the music, although there is a blue, new, emotional aspect to the relationship, in the background you have the Inquisition. And that's where everything will start to fall apart. So the progression of that music is sort of a progression of getting the Inquisition bigger and bigger and bigger, up to the point where finally Lord Nicholas comes in and try to catch them like that. So now you have the theme.
I pay a ransom for the Darun children, and I have to capture them myself. These Plantagenets are useless.
He killed my parents. He's going to slaughter us.
Belly! Run!
So now the music will get agitated.
Take them out, Amicia!
It's the girl and her brother!
What the hell did you do?
Stop!
Nothing!
Stop!
We didn't do anything! They want Hugo! It's time to get out of here!
Forward!
To even bigger when they reach. So what you have right now is what started there in one way. So first was the emotional aspect of it, the relationship, and in the background you had the theme of the Inquisition. And if you go and move on with the music, like in here, now you can hear that the chords are now in the background, and that's the Inquisition coming over. Here. It's here. But it's starting to flip. The Inquisition is getting bigger, and at the end, it's the two how to say in English? Well, the two patterns that are struggling against each other. So once again, it makes a lot of sense to me to work this way, because you can see how connected everything is. So let's move on to the next chapter, chapter 7. And here again, they made it. The Inquisition's no more with them after them, and so they're with these new kids. And once again, Hugo is having a headache. So once again, you get this motive.
His blood since he was little. I'll have to carry him.
Like
Climb on
this.
my back if you can. Come on.
So without the viol de gomme, because it would be
Sorry.
too much to have it again and again
Don't
and
worry.
again.
If it's
But
in his blood.
It's just to show you
What about you?
how connected
I'm
everything is.
Lucas is trying
And
to
bear
slow
in
the
mind that
effects
it's
down.
been hours
That's also why we're going to the
since
chapel.
the last time you heard it. So that's right before you reach chapter 8, which is like the new home for the kids. But Hugo is very sick, and Amicia needs to get away to find some book for him. So she leaves him, and for the first time, she's all alone. So we're not going to talk about those chapters because they're not about the relationship. She meets with someone else, and they're going to go through hell and finally get rid of the Inquisition. There is the Inquisition there, but I don't want to talk much about this. It's once again about the Inquisition and the relationship. So when she's coming back, they realize that Hugo is getting even sicker than before. So it's difficult for her because she needs to go back to her mansion where her mom was dealing with some potions. So she needs to get some ingredients over there. So she's going there. And when she's going there, she, experienced a lot of things. I don't want to go through this, but there's a lot of things to say for the music. So later on, when Hugo, so he's out there at the Inquisition headquarters to finally meet with his mom and to activate his last threshold to control rats, because his sickness is about controlling rats as well. So that's, this sort of surreal part of the game. And chapter 15 is the big climax. I mean, this is where everything ties up. So you can see the blue, the orange, and of course the red are all together on this one. And this one is what? It's a month after Hugo gets caught by the Inquisition by trying to get close to his mom. Of course, the Inquisition knew from the very beginning when he was in the headquarters that he would want to see his mom. So it's like trying to manipulate him. And it succeeded. And actually, they turned Hugo against his sister. And so you have to be in our heads now and think, okay, so now Hugo is turning against his sister. And they're going to reunite as enemies. So we had to, to make sure that everything would make sense once again, I was like, okay, the reunion has been happening here at chapter 6 and also chapter 3. And I was like, wow, so can I maybe use that and flip it in a way that now they're enemies because of the Inquisition? And so that's how I used the music. So this blue theme that you might remember So this one is now used here when, unfortunately, Amicia discovers that her brother turned against her.
Station.
What the hell is it then?
This way! Quickly!
Go and do what has to be done.
Hugo.
Come on.
Hugo! It was,
Ellie, what are you doing
it
at the
was
door?
Hugo!
You see how intricate everything is? Because if I do this, you might maybe get a better sense. So you had this. Let's see, it's right here. Like,
This way!
Go and do what has to be done.
you see what I mean? I'm sorry it's not like accurate, but you see, it's the same music, but it's flipped. And the emotions are, you can feel that. You can feel like, oh my God, it's the Inquisition. And she feels so surprised and devastated to see him turn like this.
Go and do what has to be done.
That's an amazing moment, in my opinion. And finally, when Lord Nicholas is back, because try to flee once again, but this time they can't.
Get to work.
Hugo!
Now you have the full Inquisition. He's totally
Kill your mother in front of you.
manipulated.
It's me, Amicia, your sister!
Kill her, child. Maybe Vitalis will keep you by his side.
Hugo, no!
Go on, child. She means nothing to you now.
Die!
And that's it. That's it in terms of Lord Nicholas. However, what about Hugo? And once again, we have used this blue thing for the first reunion. And now we're going to use that yellow, orange, I don't know, thing for the big one. So once again, it's a variation where the ground of the relationship is being taken over by the Inquisition music.
Stop that bastard! Amicia.
Arthur, go make sure he's dead. I have to speak to Hugo.
Go ahead. I'll take care of him.
Hugo? Hugo! I just want to talk to you.
More corruption.
He can't hurt you anymore, Hugo. Look! All right.
So I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing to see Hugo going against her sister like this. And so that's the music, if you remember well, this one. So if I think I did it, or maybe not. So this music is the same as this one, but so
Hugo,
everything is connected,
I just want
as
to
you can
talk to
see.
you.
And of course, let's see at the end.
Write to me!
You did it.
Monsieur.
And of course, that's the viol de gambe. Of course it is. Now you understand. And it makes everything a whole. The theme, the chords, the intricate emotions are all together here. Up to the last moments where you fight against Lord Nicholas. And Lord Nicholas' music here is the ultimate version, the crazy version of the Inquisition, with the chords that are the chords of this music. Okay? So that's the chords, plus the Inquisition theme on top of it, in a fashion that is completely crazy, because he wants to kill them all. Listen. Bang, bang. And in the background, it's the same chords as these ones, you know? So it's completely disconnected, tonally speaking even. I mean, I don't want to go into details, and this is what makes everything connected, in my opinion. So that's funny. I will let you with this last bit of the game when you finally beat the last enemy, Vitalis. And I will let you do your own conclusions.
Hugo! Calm down. It's over.
Thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful for you and interesting. It was a hell of a ride to do this score. There are so much aspects that I couldn't go through, but this is already something that maybe is interesting for you. So thank you, have a great day, and enjoy A Plague Tale if you haven't played it. But if you are watching this without, if you didn't play it and watch this, why?